I'm going to show you how to sew a button onto your completed loom. So first you need to get embroidery floss and a smaller needle from me. And then once your string is on the needle, to tie it, if you just tie one knot, it's gonna slip through the yarn, so you have to make a thicker knot. So the way that I do that is I loop it around my finger 3 or 4 times, kind of loosely, and then I kind of roll it together as I'm taking it off of my finger, and then kind of pull. So then it makes a large knot that's not going to pull through the string. So I'm gonna put my button on the top, and every time you wanna start going under with the needle so that your knot is on the inside of the flap and it is not on the top. And I'm gonna take the name tag off. Okay. So I'm gonna go underneath, and every time it's really important that you pull everything completely, because otherwise you're gonna end up with some weird loop. So now I've gone up through that corner, and I'm gonna go down the diagonal corner, and again I'm gonna pull that completely. I'm going to repeat that loop about 4 or 5 times. So I'm gonna go up through the same corner and down the same diagonal corner, so I'm making a big circle. And again, every time I'm pulling it really tight. Oh. So that I don't have big loops in the back, and then I have a knot. Okay, well, just going to keep going. Okay, so once you've done that 5 times, you're gonna alternate and do the next 5 times. So you want to end going down, because that would complete the circle. And then you're gonna go up through the other side of the button and across on the other. And now that loop, you're gonna repeat 3 or 4 times. And again, every time pulling it all the way so that there's no weird loop. Once more, maybe. And down. Okay. So now in the back, to knot it, there's this big mess, which is fine, of where you sewed it. So I just take my needle through that loop somehow, doesn't really matter how, and then when I'm pulling it, there's a big loop that I made, and I'm gonna go through that. So I'm gonna do this knot in random parts throughout it about 4 or 5 times again, and then once that's completed, you can cut this. Make sure this needle gets returned to me. Then to make like a strap that's going to go around it, you could do a single piece of string. You could also braid a string. Braiding is a little bit better because then it's a thicker piece of yarn, but for time I'm just going to show a single piece. So you have to take the warp and kind of, or the weaving, and spread it back apart so that we can see those warp strings, and then you're going to thread the end of your string through. So again, you could do this with a braided string. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm going to kind of spread it apart, equal distance so it's center. Okay, so now I have the loop. This is obviously too long. So you want to pull your loop of string so that it is fairly straight, but that you can still wind it and get it around the button. So then your next step, and you can go back and kind of close those warp strings, is that you have to knot the inside so that when we pull, the length is not going to change. So you can either knot them together, or you can hold on to this and like knot right behind it 2 separate strings.